what could this mean for the crypto market?
There's growing talk that
Well, believe it or not,
Coin Bureau is one of the crypto channels with the highest reputation, which has been earned by providing accurate technical information. However, the other day they released a video about Dogecoin that has so much easily verifiable incorrect information that the whole story they try to push is weird, to say the least. Let's watch.
For reference, regulators have been going after developers of crypto projects, the most evident example here being Tornado Cash. Taken together, this suggests that Dogecoin was facing regulatory scrutiny in 2022, and Elon's acquisition of Twitter that same year probably added fuel to the fire.
First of all, it was said that Dogecoin was under threat of regulatory scrutiny in 2022, which is not true. Dogecoin itself has no threat. The SEC went after those cryptos that had initial coin offerings or otherwise violated SEC rules or were centralized in some way. That's why Library, LBC, got sued. That's why Ripple, XRP, got sued. That's why the Ethereum Foundation was under investigation after they switched to proof of stake, etc. There was nothing about Dogecoin that would violate any laws. Doge is basically the same thing as Bitcoin with few tweaks. The part where Coin Bureau puts Tornado Cash in the same boat as Dogecoin makes me so confused. Tornado Cash is a mixer that was used for money laundering, financing criminal activities, etc., and the government wanted to stop it, so they charged the founders, one of whom was arrested. This has nothing to do with Dogecoin or any of its developers.
For those unaware, Elon was sued in June 2022 for allegedly manipulating Doge's price with his posts. The lawsuit was dropped only very recently. And this might have something to do with the fact that Donald Trump was elected as the next US president.
As for the famous lawsuit in which 4 traders who sold Dogecoin at a loss demanded in court that Elon give them $258 billion, 3 times more than Dogecoin's market capitalization at its peak, its dismissal has nothing to do with the US elections. The lawsuit was dismissed on August 30th, more than 2 months before the election, not November 15th, as it says in this article, which you cite as evidence, and say, I quote, the lawsuit was dropped only very recently, adding that it may have something to do with the election of Trump as president, whom Elon supported. This type of inaccurate information, which can be easily verified anywhere on the internet, is weird when it comes from reputable channels like Coin Bureau.
As another fun fact, Cantor Fitzgerald CEO Howard Lutnick was the one who actually came up with the idea to call it Doge. And FYI, Cantor Fitzgerald manages the reserves for Tether's USDT, the largest stablecoin by market cap. And Tether also has close connections to the crypto mining industry.
It wasn't Howard Lutnick who came up with the idea of calling it Doge. Lutnick wrote this post, which you showed, on October 14th. As far as I know, it was first mentioned on August 3rd by Wayne Vaughn, but it only reached Elon after Sir Doge of the Coin, a member of the Dogecoin community and a friend of Elon's, also named the department Doge on August 19th, not knowing that Wayne had already done so. While this seems like an innocent mistake that has no impact on the quality of Coin Bureau's video, so there was no need for me to correct it, it actually has a very big significance, as you will see later. Coin Bureau after this talks about price predictions, so I won't go into that, but after that things get weird again. They talk in this part about Elon instead of supporting the transition of Dogecoin to proof of stake because it's environmentally friendly. He advocates optimizing the mining of both Dogecoin and Bitcoin. Let's watch.
Now, whether Doge could hit $1 or more ultimately depends on Dogecoin's upcoming milestones. And as it so happens, the Dogecoin Foundation has an official trail map for Dogecoin. As far as we can tell, there's only one milestone that hasn't been met yet. And that's likely because it's the most controversial. That's the proposal to transition Doge from a proof of work to a proof of stake. And this is where things get interesting yet again, and where all that stuff about Litecoin miners and Tether starts to come back into the picture.
First, we should clarify this. The Dogecoin Foundation from 2014 and the Dogecoin Foundation that was formed in 2021 are quite different things. While the first foundation was a sort of community thing that utilized the coin as a currency and collected donations for various charitable causes such as building clean water wells in Africa, or sending the Jamaican bobsled team to the Sochi Olympics, this second foundation has, as far as I know, 8 employees who are paid by Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin to switch Dogecoin from proof of work to proof of stake, or rather to create a proof of stake coin and call it Dogecoin. Of course, you are probably wondering why Vitalik would give millions of dollars to a group of people to switch Dogecoin to proof of stake. Wouldn't it be cheaper or even free for him to create a new proof of stake coin and call it something different? Yes, but in the sea of cryptocurrencies being created every second, the currency itself has no value without a brand and community. That's why they need the Dogecoin name. Second, it's not clear why Vitalik is going around pushing other coins such as Dogecoin and Zcash to switch to proof of stake. It's not known whether this is his personal agenda or someone else's agenda, and he's just implementing it. In any case, the OG Dogecoin community is resisting it because proof of stake has proven to be very centralized. At one point, Ethereum, after switching to proof of stake, was so centralized that one company held 72% of all staked ETH. Now in October, Vitalik himself is warning about transaction censorship as a consequence of centralization, as just 2 entities were responsible for creating almost 90% of blocks.
Back in 2021, Elon said Tesla wouldn't accept BTC for payments due to its mining emissions. Logically then, you'd think that Elon would be in favor of Dogecoin transitioning from proof of work to proof of stake, given that the proof of stake consensus mechanism is lauded as being more environmentally friendly. While many media outlets have speculated that this is the case, it doesn't seem to be true. According to Cointelegraph, Elon, quote, collaborated with Dogecoin stakeholders to reduce its mining emissions by 25% in 2022.
Elon did not collaborate with Dogecoin stakeholders to reduce Dogecoin mining emission by 25%, but rather worked with developers to improve the system's transaction efficiency, more precisely, to speed up block times, increase block size, and lower fees. The Dogecoin developers referred to here as Patrick Lauder, Ross Nicole, Mitch Illumin, Max Keller, and Sporklin, who has sadly passed away. The insinuation that these people are owners of mining pools or are their investors or something, and therefore have a financial interest in Dogecoin not switching to proof of stake, as is claimed later in the video, is again weird. They're just people who, on a volunteer basis, worked on maintaining the Dogecoin blockchain.
And this is fascinating, because you'd think he would advocate for Dogecoin to transition to proof of stake for the reasons I just mentioned. Instead, he opted to optimize the mining. What's even more fascinating is that Elon did the exact same thing for Bitcoin. He didn't advocate for it to transition from proof of work to proof of stake to be more environmentally friendly. Instead, he opted to optimize Bitcoin mining to reduce emissions.
Now, as for Elon, I can't speak for him because I don't know what he thinks. He's never stated whether he wants Dogecoin to move to proof of stake or to stay on proof of work. Elon, as someone who advocates the use of nuclear and solar energy, the guy makes solar panels, doesn't seem to have a primary goal of changing what Bitcoin and Dogecoin are, but rather to encourage miners to switch to clean energy. Miners have already managed to shift almost 55% of the industry to sustainable energy, and that trend is continuing. Again, I am not speaking for Elon. This is just my take on things based on his statements. However, there is something else that is weird here. While trying to find Elon's ulterior motives in his effort to encourage miners to switch to clean energy, Coin Bureau does not consider the possibility that Elon's failure to push Dogecoin to proof of stake is due to something else. For example, the fact that the SEC has been chasing coins with a proof of stake mechanism because they claimed that under the law, staking is an expectation of profit and therefore an investment contract, which makes a coin that has stakers a security. Or, for example, the fact that I already mentioned that proof of stake is so centralized that Ethereum is at a great risk of transaction censorship.
At the same time, one of Dogecoin's main developers has threatened to quit if Dogecoin does transition to proof of stake. This suggests that there are very powerful stakeholders within Dogecoin's ecosystem that do not want it to transition to proof of stake.
As for the developer threatening to quit, that very powerful stakeholder in the Dogecoin ecosystem. I think this will be very entertaining for the Doge community. The Mishobor being discussed here is not a developer and never has been. In particular, he is not a powerful stakeholder with a financial interest in not moving to proof of stake. Although he is one of the most respected people in the Dogecoin community, he is just a member of the community, who of course has his own personal opinion. Mishobor has dedicated his X account to educating people about all things Doge. If Coin Bureau has read the article they cited and what Mishobor said, they would have seen that he jokingly referred to the topic of proof of work vs proof of stake, saying that if Dogecoin switched to proof of stake, he would switch to another proof of work coin and stick a picture of a dog on his wallet. It's understandable that a journalist would write clickbait headlines. In this case, it's beyond clickbait, it's completely inaccurate, but this shouldn't have happened to the professionals at Coin Bureau.
And this is where things get truly fascinating, because Tether has reportedly become a very big player in the Bitcoin mining space.
Here we have to provide information that will be of crucial importance later. According to the internet, Tether has invested in BitDeer, which is headquartered in Singapore, not China, and has operations in several places such as the United States, Norway, and other countries. Tether also invested in Swan Bitcoin, which is based in Los Angeles, which is not in China. Swan Bitcoin also has operation in the United States and abroad. Tether also invested in Volcano in El Salvador, which again is not China, in Bitcoin Mine in Uruguay, also not China, in Northern Data AG in Germany, you guessed it, not China.
And in case it wasn't obvious enough, many of the largest Bitcoin miners also became the largest Litecoin miners when LTC started. And I'll remind you that LTC is merge mined with Doge. When you recall that the CEO of the company that manages Tether's reserves came up with the Doge acronym, the full picture starts to come together.
And here we go back to what we were already talking about. The CEO of the company that manages Tether Treasury is not the one who called the Department of Government Efficiency Doge by that name. So this theory is already starting to seriously burst at the seams.
Doge pumping fundamentally benefits crypto miners and the largest stablecoin issuer, which have strong ties to the biggest crypto projects and companies. However, the only missing piece of the puzzle is the Doge father himself. And as I hinted earlier, the thing that links all these entities together is their ties to China. Now consider that 55% of Bitcoin's hash rate still comes from China, despite the mining ban.
China controlled more than 55% of the hash rate before it banned cryptocurrencies, before 2021. Now the US is in first place with 38% and China is in second with 21%. Kazakhstan in third with 13%, Canada in fourth with 7%, and so on. It's true that China still holds a lot of hash rate, taking into account the ban, but that's not the point. The point is why Coin Bureau would give all that incorrect information to their viewers.
That's a long-winded way of saying that powerful forces, namely the Chinese crypto mining industry and its affiliates, do not want Dogecoin to transition to proof of stake and want Elon to continue pumping Doge so they can make big profits.
To sum it up, Coin Bureau first said that Elon collaborated with Dogecoin stakeholders to reduce mining emissions by 25%, while the truth is that Elon worked with developers to reduce fees, speed up block times, and increase block size. Then they said that the CEO of the company that manages Tether Treasury came up with the idea to call the Department of Government Efficiency Doge by that name, which is not true. Then they showed a fake news headline that a Dogecoin dev would resign if Dogecoin switched to proof of work and called him a powerful stakeholder. While the truth is that the journalist was talking about a community member who is none of the above. Then they said that Tether invested in Bitcoin mining and linked it to China, even though Tether's investments, as we have seen, are in other countries. Then they said that China controls 55% of Bitcoin hash rate, which is also not true. And then they somehow put all these untrue things together and finally concluded that Elon was pushing Dogecoin so that Chinese miners could profit. because one of Tesla's factories is located in China. My name is Vi. Subscribe.